Hello, good morning, and you are back with the crew. Thank you very much. I'm the crew, you're the crew, we're all the crew. Hey, that camera looks crooked, and my dog is back. Bruno Man is here with us. Today, we're going to talk about a video that I keep getting asked about a lot because I'm the guy who keeps saying, I don't think we're going into a recession. Down, big guy. I just don't think, it's not soft landing, hard landing, crash, depression, or any of those things. Of course, all of those are on the table. And I'm saying that because there's so many people telling me that it's depression, we're going to the bottom, and because the math says so. I believe that. The math does say that. The math has said that for 25, 50 years now. 52 years, since 71 we should have crashed, right? It's not backed by anything. The whole thing's a Ponzi. But let me explain why I don't think that's going to happen and why when I talk to banking people, upper level banking people, they don't even see real numbers. They just don't deal in that world. They just deal in more. There's always more. Oh, don't worry, Alan, there's always more. So I'm going to try and describe this in a manner that you guys can follow. You guys are probably way ahead of me on this. It's not like I'm teaching you guys anything. It's a situation where it's like the Smith family. Okay, let's go Smith, Johnson, Hernandez, Jones, whatever you got. I'm good with all those people. If you have a credit card that has no limit on it, and sure, the balance keeps getting bigger and you have to pay more in interest, but you can just put more interest on your credit card and borrow more money on your credit card. Does the Smith family ever have a recession? That's what I'm talking about. I know that's simplicity to most people, but it bears repeat. They won't have a recession until they choose one. Until they choose to, oh, well, no, we got to tighten our belts and cut back and lay off some government employees. And we have to, they hired over 50,000 new employees just for government in the US last year, 2023. You have to understand that they're just increasing their payroll. They're just spending more on their credit card. It's really hard to go through tough times as a Smith family when you've spent $1.4 trillion more than you had to spend as the US did last year. In a year in which they claim that they are tightening their belts, they're cutting back and they're raising interest rates and they're doing all these righteous things to make everything legit and on top of the table. No, that's not what they did. They just simply got a bigger credit card. Or they, extended their balance is all they did. So in a mathematical world, in an Austrian economics world, non-Keynesian, if you will, yeah, you're right. The math says we should have been broke 30 years ago. But until somebody comes along and says, no, you have to be real, and those things aren't real, and I'm not taking those anymore. I use the comment all the time about, if somebody comes to unclog your toilet and he shows up to your house and the toilet's flowing and you only have dollars and he doesn't take those any longer, then we have a monetary system or problem. Or if somebody like China says, well, I don't want those digits for the goods you're making, or we're not going to sell you our goods for those dollars anymore. We're just not doing it like that. Those days are coming. There's little pieces of it. Yeah, as we all know, the BRICS nations are growing and they are putting more pressure on the economy in that sense. I'm saying all of that to explain to people why the other reason why I don't think there's going to be a recession is because they have this new bubble that I keep talking about, which is crypto. They have a place to put all of these digits. They can create more digits, new digits, and you and I can place them. It's all about liquidity. The liquidity of the person. I use this example all the time. If your market has no liquidity, you're a guy bouncing around the streets of Las Vegas with no money in your wallet. You're like, well, I've already spent all my money. That's a no liquidity market. But if you're walking around Vegas and you got $1,500 in cash in your pocket and you're walking around Vegas, you can go to anywhere, just about anywhere you want to eat. You can place a huge bet. You can do just about anything you feel like doing there, and you can afford it, and you will, because that's what we do. We earn to spend, and we spend our money, some of us more wisely than others, but when we earn money in our crypto, we are going to feel flush. We're going to feel like the guy with 1,500. I know you don't right now, although many of us bought many of our favorite coins at a lot cheaper than where it's at right now. You don't feel like you're the guy with the 1,500. You feel like you're the guy that's, you know, maybe got 50 bucks or 100 bucks instead of 1,500. Your day of 1,500 is coming, and that day is going to set off a chain reaction, because it's going to be placed, the liquidity is going to come from the top yet again, except for this time is unique and different. Why? Because it's coming from the top in a manner in which you and I already purchased the things that the top people are going to fund us. In other words, they're coming to the ETF market, they're coming to the Bitcoin market, soon to be Ethereum, and now we've recently learned XRP will now have an ETF market going forward, spot markets. This is going to create massive amounts of liquidity into the crypto market eventually, not maybe first day. And what that means to you and I in a way of speaking is you become the flush guy. So what are you going to do? You're going to spend it on whatever it is you love to spend it on. They know the effect, the cause and effect, because what happened in 2020 was they funded people in their wallets, and 10-year-old cars went up in value. That's how absurd it was. Like they gave us money to stay home and spend it, and used cars went up in value for the very first time in the history. Unless they were a collectible automobile, you know, a 2 or 3 year old car should have lost, you know, a third to half of its value. They went up by a third. That's the result of liquidity. That's what I'm talking about. They're going to give you, in essence, you will have earned equity in your cryptos, like being more valuable than your credit card is really your balance is. Your balance is simply going to keep going up because your crypto value is going to keep going up, and you're going to feel cash flush, and you're going to spend it. You're going to spend it on everything that you want in life, as you should, because it's yours and you earned it. You got laughed at, were ridiculed and made fun of, and you were the brunt of many jokes at every cocktail party you've ever been behind your back. You probably didn't know that, but it's true. And now you were the winner. Now you're the person that's flush. The reason why that's so big, okay, is they know there's millions of people around the planet that have these cryptos. That's going to create monetary quick, like that's straight to the IV, straight into the veins. It's going to happen quick because there's so many of us that have been gripping these coins so hard that we have paper hands now. We just want to see a double and triple and I want out, or I'm going to sell a portion of my bag. They know that. All of these rules and all these regulations that have been coming, if you think about it, they've cut your off ramps, your on ramps, but the other thing they're cutting off, or they're trying to cut off, is your ownership outside of these ETFs. They want to control the coins. They think they can. They think they deserve it. They think they're worthy of it. And they think that it's theirs to own. That's what they believe about every asset on the planet. The water, the air, everything on it belongs to them. That's what rules and regulations are. It's a way to control the assets of the planet so that you can't own your own life, own your own freedom and sovereignty, which is going to be a big subject on this channel going forward. I don't just believe in your own sovereign rights monetarily. I believe in your sovereign privacy. I believe in your internet sovereignty. I think that you should be able to go online and communicate with whoever you feel like communicating, and you shouldn't have to tell Google, Apple, or Microsoft who you're talking to. And they shouldn't own your information and be able to sell it or give it away to anybody they feel like. That's not a free market. I understand they created a beautiful network and it's for them, and I do believe in freedoms. I believe that they should be able to freely do whatever they want. However, when you're using somebody else's name and likeness without their permission, then we're getting into somebody's sovereign rights as a human being, and we're all individuals, and we all have an equal share to our lives. And if you're taking somebody else's share from them, you are a manipulator. You are going beyond somebody's freedom. You are obtaining them and to some degree controlling them through a public domain that should be public, should be First Amendment in particular in this country, and it's clearly not. And I've heard many of the arguments tell me the same thing. They always say, well, it's a private business, they can do whatever they want. I said, well, that's not true. That's not accurate. And they said, well, yes, they can. It's a private company owned. They can do whatever they want. I said, no, they can't. I can't say, hey, I don't hire old people or fat people. I can't say that. You can't do that as a business. There are many other things that you're not allowed to do because, first of all, it's not cool. So in other words, that's what they're being right now. It's not cool at all. And I'm going to go down that road a whole lot more on this channel going forward. And I have some great companies that I've been researching and looking into, and I really appreciate the work they do for all of us for our personal sovereignty on the internet. And that will be coming forward. Getting back to the liquidity and the equity of these coins, all of the money in which they're going to infuse into the crypto market is going to be into these ETFs and these established products in which they control the namesake of the product, and they're going to give you cash when you cash out. Talked about that in the last video, and it's very important that you understand that you're going to get their digits back. It's very important that you need to spend their digits on things you need or things that could further increase the value of your life. In other words, a business, a nice car, a nice house, a property, home for your parents, whatever your dream or whatever your thing is, you want to use dollars for that. You don't want to use dollars for your investment, because anytime you invest dollars, it can only go up in the value of what they print them. If you look at the Dow, if you look at even real estate, I mean, some markets have gone up beyond that, but if you just simply look at the value of the dollar, that's been the value of the real estate boom or increase over the last few years. Why did real estate go up 40 or 50% over the last 3 years, particularly in this country? Why? Because they created 40% more dollars than there were before 2020. And then I hear economists say, well, you know, they can't keep doing that. I said, well, their credit card doesn't have a limit on it. The other thing is, I keep hearing, well, the repo window's closing now, and then all that money's going to be gone, and then what are they going to do? You heard of QE2, right? They're going to go repo window 2. Or they'll call it repo door, repo building, or whatever. Like, you know, when you're the club and you're the gang and you create all the rules, you just create a new window. It's pretty simple. It's all just float. They're just floating this debt, just laying that out there nice and thick and smooth. And that's what they're up to. So when people ask me, is there going to be a recession? Only if they want one. If they get real about money and they decide that, you know, oh, we're going to go honest, I don't know why they would ever do that. Or if they want to create that 3-letter war thing, that could create a whole different black swan event that I really don't want to go down that road, because personally I have my own personal feelings about the ridiculous and ignorance of all that. having said all that, I just wanted to get that off my chest. I get a lot of questions. Allan, well, you don't believe it's going to crash in 2024? I'm sorry, I don't. I could be completely wrong. I'm wrong about most things. But this one, I just explained to you why those reasons are. I don't believe that we're going to have a massive recession. Sure, we could have a 20%, 30% decline in the economy. That makes a lot of sense. Those corrections always get bought up by the people at the top because they're usually the ones that plan it, and it goes down 30%, and they say, okay, it's time for the boys to get back in. Boys get back in, and it slowly trickles back up, and then when you and I get back in, it's almost at the top again, and you know the story. But see, you were smart this time because the last 2 years you've been buying crypto when it was at its bottom. And now you're going to be out ahead of big money that's coming to an asset near you. Look how incredible you are. All right, guys, love you. And I hope you guys got something from that. If you like this kind of stuff, please like, please subscribe. I know it sounds corny, but it does make a difference. And I really enjoy putting these out. My son and I do a lot of work behind the scenes to keep ourselves up to date and thinking of you guys as much as possible. All right, guys, hopefully you like that content, and I will see you soon. I'm out. So I go to a birthday party, and of course, I run into a guy, good friend of mine's son. His girlfriend's the, director of Coinbase. Well, I looked right at him and said, of course she is. Of course. Don't surprise me at all. And my brother creates mining rigs. My sister and my brother-in-law create mining rigs all around the world. Yeah, of course. I expected that to come out of your mouth. I knew. I knew something like that would happen. Of course. Happens to me every day. And my nephew created Raven. He and a couple of his buddies created Raven coin. And I'm working with numerous crypto companies to work with the foundation of the rest of the old market stock security people who are building infrastructure to further build out blockchain and the relationship between crypto, blockchain, and legacy business industry. That's what I do. And I went, shook his hand, and I said, you and I are going to stay in touch, my friend. He said, yeah, you're like one of my mom's best friends. Yep. Yeah. That's what happened to me last weekend. That's just kind of how it goes. Gotta love this crypto universe, man. Love you guys.